Okay, so today we are learning Sanhedrin 67, and I wanted to learn this one together because, we're all going through a really dark timeline right now, and I know this stuff has a lot about magic, and I would like some enchantment. I don't know what kind of magic it's going to end up being, but I'd like some escapism. So let's do that, shall we?
Yes, let's.
Let's. The Mishnah teaches that the case of the warlocks is referring to one who performs a real act of sorcery. The sages taught in a Baraita the verse, "You shall not allow a witch to live," Exodus 22:17, does not refer only to a female who practices sorcery. Both a man and a woman are included. If so, why does the verse state a witch? This is because most women are indeed familiar with witchcraft, and at this point I'm going to insert some sort of special effect, like fire from my hand or something that indicates that I too, as a woman, hashtag as a woman, can do witchcraft. Fear me.
Hashtag all women.
Hashtag yes, all women.
I just have to ask, were there secret meetings where you learned about it?
Well, if I told you about them, they wouldn't be secret anymore, would they?
That's a good point. I'm really surprised, though, that this is equal opportunity stoning.
But we expected more from women because what do women do all day? We just gossip and magic. In fact, when we're gossiping, we're just talking about different spells we like.
Rabbi Yochanan says, why is sorcery called Keshafim? Because it is an acronym for contradicts the heavenly entourage, Shemach Chishin Pamalia Shel Mala. Sorcery appears to contradict the law of nature established by God.
Maybe the heavenly entourage is just like, I don't like bad magic, okay? If I can tell how you're doing the trick, I don't think you should be doing this. So it's not about doing the magic itself. It's like, how good are you at that? Are you terrible at doing spells? They're just like, oh God, you're embarrassing. It's embarrassing.
The angels are like, I could tell you were underneath that the whole time.
It was with mirrors.
Yeah.
So the verse states, "To you it was shown, so that you should know that the Lord is God. There is none other besides God." Deuteronomy 4:35. Rabbi Hanina says this is true even with regard to a matter of sorcery. Sorcery is ineffective against a righteous person, and if that were true, they wouldn't be afraid of it.
The Gemara relates, there was a certain woman who was attempting to take dust from under the feet of Rabbi Hanina in order to perform sorcery on him and harm him. Rabbi Hanina said to her, if you succeed, go and do it.
Go and fucking do it, bitch. What are you gonna do with my dirt?
I am not concerned about it. As it is written, there is none else besides God.
Is like, you can try to get the dirt out from underneath my Birkenstocks, but it's not going to do anything. The Gemara asks, is that so? But doesn't Rabbi Yochanan say, why are sorcerers called Keshafim? Because it is an acronym for contradicts the heavenly entourage. This indicates that one should be wary of sorcery. The Gemara answers, Rabbi Hanina is different, though. He's just built different. His merit is greater. He's fine. He is bubble wrapped in protection against sorcery. Sorcery certainly has no effect on a righteous person at all. So we should all aspire to be a righteous man, a righteous person like him, so we'll also be fine.
Rabbi Ivu bar Nagare says that Rabbi Chia bar Abba says that in the verse, and the magicians of Egypt did in that manner with their secret arts, belatehem, these words are describing acts of employing demons. They fill out the W4s.
I hope they were compensated appropriately for their labor.
Amen. With regard to the similar term, belahatehem, these are acts of sorcery which sorcerers perform themselves without using demons DIY. It feels like the first one is like a little corporate, and the second one is like your independent artist.
I would happily accept demon volunteer assistance. I unfortunately do not have the funds in whatever kind of monetary or benefit package a demon might be looking for which I apologize, but I'm upfront about it.
What pay would demons want?
We need to check in on the paperwork and like how much they have to report for taxes and stuff, and like how does Ashmedai take a cut of taxes.
The good news is you probably wouldn't have to find a different kind of healthcare because our healthcare system is already kind of hellish and it would be fine for
They already have better healthcare than we do. There's no question. That's why I work this joke into every single video about Ashmedai, is that he is like a great employer and everybody who works for him has really great health insurance. I'm making a very specific point. I think we should all learn from Ashmedai. He really cares, okay?
I support it. Okay, so without using demons. And likewise, it says, and the flaming lahat sword that turned fabulously every way, referring to a sword that revolves by itself.
Okay, so it's a similar root word
Lahat.
for what the demons do and what this turning flaming sword does, which I think they're describing from the entrance to the Garden of Eden, if I'm right, right? That's the flaming sword in question. Okay, so Abaye says, Abaye, who keeps up to date on all of the demon activities, he was raised well by his mother to pay attention to these things. A sorcerer who is very particular about using a certain utensil for his sorcery, he's got his methodology, is employing a demon. One who's not particular about using a certain utensil, a spork, is performing an act of sorcery, not a demon.
Abaye says, the halachot of sorcery are like the halachot of Shabbat, obviously, in that their actions can be divided into three categories. That's what makes them alike. There are some of them for which one is liable to be executed by stoning, and there are some of them for which one is exempt from punishment by Torah law, but they are prohibited by rabbinic law, and there are some of them that are permitted ab initio.
Abaye elaborates, one who performs a real act of sorcery is liable to be executed by stoning. One who deceives the eye, a Penn and Teller situation, exempt for punishment, but it's prohibited. Just don't do it. It's prohibited because you might trick people, but we know it's just an optical illusion. It's prohibited for him to do so. What is permitted ab initio, don't say anything, people in the comments, I don't know how to pronounce this, don't yell at us, is to act like Rav Hanina and Rav Oshaya. Every Shabbat Eve, they would engage in the study of the halachot of creation. Oh, fuck, shit. And a third-born calf would be created for them, and they would eat it in honor of Shabbat. I'm sorry. Did they spontaneously create a calf out of...
Actually, it's in the passive form.
Would be created for them.
Yeah.
Because I was like, if they hadn't gotten together for their little non-warlock at all, tea time, Erev Shabbos, when their wives are probably working really hard to get Shabbat ready, and they're like, we're gonna think about creating a calf.
So first of all, we haven't even touched on the fact that it says, keeps saying a real act of sorcery, which is to say, it's quite clear to them that sorcery is real.
Oh, yeah, obviously.
We have here, and plenty of other places in the Talmud, rabbis doing what we would call acts of sorcery all the time. That's like kosher sorcery.
Right, that's fine. All right. Rav Ashi says, I saw Karna's father perform a magic trick in which he would blow his nose and cast rolls of silk from his nostrils by deceiving the eye. So this is like those people who like pull the silk handkerchiefs out of their nose or whatever.
And then at the end, there's their underwear with like hearts on it.
That's where they got it from, right here.
With regard to the verse, and the magician said to Pharaoh, this is the finger of God. Rabbi Eliezer says, it is derived from here that a demon cannot create an entity smaller than the size of a barley grain. How do they get that from there?
Guess who the fuck it is who's talking right now?
Rabbi Eliezer ben Hyrcanus?
Yeah. So we
Okay.
can just ignore anything that comes out of his mouth. Take everything he says with a vast grain of barley and then throw it immediately out the window.
Consequently, the magicians were not capable of duplicating the plague of lice, and therefore they realized that this was not an act of sorcery but was performed by God because they couldn't go smaller.
I know when we think of magic, oh, it's just so magical, we're thinking of lice. So here we have Rav Papa, who is upset. He's upset because at the idea that they could create anything. The Egyptian sorcerers could do anything. It's like, stop giving them credit. He's like, by God, they cannot create even an entity as large as a camel. They do not create anything. Rather, they gather these large animals, leading them from one place to another, but they can't gather those small animals. They can't gather up some lice. The Gemara relates, Zeiri happened to come to Alexandria of Egypt. He bought a donkey. When he was about to give it water to drink, the magic thawed when the donkey touched the water, and it was revealed that it was not a donkey. It turned into the plank of a bridge. The fuck? The one who sold it to him said, if you were not the area distinguished person, we would not refund you the money for the donkey. Is there anyone who buys an item here and doesn't examine it first with water? Like, are you new here? What the fuck is wrong with you? You pour water on it, and that's how you know if it's an illusion or not.
Let me buy this thing.
Bring a spray bottle wherever you go to just check.
The Gemara relates, a man named Yanai arrived at a certain inn. He said to the innkeepers, give me water to drink. They brought him flour mixed with water. It's not really what, okay. He saw that the lips of the innkeeper woman, of course it's a woman, I'm on to you, were moving, and he cast a bit of the drink to the ground, and it turned into scorpions. And he understood that the innkeepers performed sorcery on the drink.
No fucking shit.
If he didn't understand that at that point, I would be concerned. Yanai said to them, I drank from yours, you too drink from mine, and he also performed sorcery on the drink.
Oh shit, Uno reverse sorcery.
He gave it to her to drink, and she turned into a donkey.
But she drank it?
She did. Obviously, the next line has to be, he rode upon her and went to the marketplace. Her friend came and released her from the sorcery, I assume by throwing water at her.
Oh my God. Thank God her friend was there. I mean, like, ride or die, find you a friend who will pour water on you if they see you as a donkey. They don't know that you're the donkey, but they think.
Find yourself a friend that would recognize you as a donkey.
Gio? But you have to have a friend who can see in a donkey that maybe that donkey has your expression. Then you know 'tis I. Okay. Since we're talking about the sorcerers of Egypt, let's get to the topic that is the most beloved topic in the history of the Jewish internet and probably before. Y'all know what I'm fucking talking about. Okay.
And if you don't,
Your life's about to change for the better. Or the worse, depending if what phobias you might have. It is stated with regard to the plagues of Egypt and the frog came up and covered the land of Egypt, the frog singular. Exodus 8:2. Noting the term the frog is written in the singular, Rabbi Elazar says, at first it was one frog. It spawned and filled the entire land of Egypt with frogs. So out of this one ginormous frog that covered the entire surface area of Egypt, it's like a piñata.
Gemara comments. This matter is subject to a dispute between Tanaim. Rabbi Akiva says it was one frog, and it spawned and filled the entire land of Egypt with other frogs. Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah said to him, Akiva, what are you doing occupying yourself with the study of Agadah? This is not your field of expertise. Take your statements to the tractates of Negaim and Oholot. Rather, the verse is to be understood as follows. It was one frog, it whistled to the other frogs, and they all came after it.
Okay, so it's the Pied Piper frog of frogs. Out of the Nile emerges a giant fucking frog, and then it summons all of the regular sized or smaller frogs to follow it into battle. So last paragraph in the daf, in the Mishnah, Rabbi Akiva says, in the name of Rabbi Yehoshua, that two people can each gather cucumbers by sorcery, one of whom is exempt, as he merely deceives the eyes. He's just fast hand movements, you know. But the other one is liable because he's getting those cucumbers with real magic. I don't think that if I really did have the capability of doing magic, I don't know if gathering cucumbers would be the number one use of my power. But that's just me.